talk about what's going on with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, for those of you who may not know, Marjorie Taylor Greene is a U.S. congressperson who was elected primarily on her standing for Donald Trump and her obsession with QAnon and her idiotic, just out there caricature of far right wing politics in this country. The woman is absolutely insane. So, we're going to go over the fact that she was banned just recently, permanently, from Twitter. And this is just on her personal Twitter account, not her representative one. There's still Rep MTG up. She can get banned from that one too if she starts spreading misinformation on there as well. But as of right now, that one's still available. She can still tweet on that. But her personal one has been permanently banned, permanently suspended, because of her takes on COVID and her misinformation spreading on COVID. You thought Magic the Gathering? No, MTG as in Marjorie Taylor Greene. How did I never realize that Magic the Gathering and her have the same initials there? Oh boy. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over this a little bit, guys. God. So MTG hit with Facebook suspension after Twitter ban. So she's suspended from Facebook as well, it appears. So Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene said Monday she has been temporarily barred from posting on her Facebook account by the social network, less than a day after losing her personal Twitter account. Oh, you're still here, just quiet too. It's okay. That's okay. But I do like chats. You guys can send emojis and stuff like that too. Like, I like emojis. Go to town with that stuff. So Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene said Monday she had been temporarily barred from posting on her Facebook account by the social network less than a day after losing her personal Twitter account. Facebook has joined Twitter in censoring me, Greene wrote on Getter. We're going to discuss Getter later too. A social media platform favored by some right-wing conservatives. This is beyond censorship of speech. Okay. Greene's post included a screenshot appearing to show that she would be prohibited from posting or commenting from her Facebook account for a period of 24 hours. 24 hours! I've been banned from Facebook for 7 days, 30 days. Oh my god. I'm not complaining. Okay, maybe I do a little bit. But period of 24 hours for violating the platform's policy against misinformation, a characterization she disputed. Who appointed Twitter and Facebook to be the authorities of information and misinformation, she wrote. They're TOS. I mean, if you don't like it, you can go to Getter, right? That's what you're doing? Going to Getter? Yeah. When big tech decides what political speech of elected members is accepted and what's not, then they are working against our government and against the interests of our people. Okay, first of all, most Republicans that I know of, most right-wing conservatives that I know of, are anti-government themselves. They say it. They say that they're anti-taxes, that there's the deep state, that they've been... that the government is against the people. That's why we need less regulation. But when it comes to them, being in government, you got to trust me. You got to trust my word and what I've done and what I've said, even if it's completely ridiculous and even if it goes against all of the science that has been put out into society from reputable sources. You were for telling a bully that was threatening people he wasn't funny. Yeah, I got banned for saying some things too, as like about white people in general. Even though, that's my skin color as well. Apparently, that's character assassination. Yeah. No, it's fighting back against people who are causing problems and just hiding behind their keyboards. A spokesperson for Facebook's parent company, Meta, something else we'll talk about later, confirmed that it took down a post of Green's. A post violated our policies, and we have removed it. But removing her account for this violation is beyond the scope of our policies, Aaron Simpson said in a statement. On Sunday, Green was permanently locked out of her personal Twitter account for repeated violations of the company's COVID-19 misinformation policy. The move came after several previous suspensions for similar rules violations, though the permanent suspension does not apply to her official Twitter account. So yes, she started spreading some misinformation on Twitter. She had said things like the virus has failed, and that the virus doesn't work, and several other things. So the information she'd showed just recently was collections of people who had been vaccinated that had also died, and even if they died from other causes like an accident or something like that, whether or not they were vaccinated, and took all of that and compiled it and just said, okay, well, these guys all died of COVID even though they or died of the vaccine, basically, which was complete and utter crap. Like, she misconstrued the information, put it out there without understanding, or maybe she did understand. I don't know. I can't tell if she is just completely dumb or if she's actually, just grifting for her political career. But basically, she had spread all this misinformation, which we really don't need now, especially since Omicron's and COVID in general is spiking across the country. Let's see here. The move came after several previous suspensions for similar rules violations. Though the permanent suspension does not apply to her official Twitter account, a first-term lawmaker, Green, has seen her profile soar due to numerous controversies relating to her incendiary social media posts, which have included bigotry, Islamophobia, racism, anti-Semitism, support for conspiracy theories, and calls for violence against her political enemies. Sounds like a real winner to me, folks. Yeah. The anti-AOC here. Last February, the House voted to strip Green of her committee membership in response to her behavior, though Green has remained defiant, and has arguably only seen her star rise in the intervening period. That's because 30% of the Republican Party are absolutely insane and believe that Hollywood and the government are ran by a dark cabal of pedophile baby eaters. So, and she came from that camp. She came from those people. So that's fun. She is one of a number of prominent Republican lawmakers who have run afoul of social media companies' policies, particularly regarding the 2020 elections and COVID-related issues, and either had their content taken down or faced suspension. Many of them have rallied against those large platforms, accusing them of bias against conservatives and stifling free speech. I honestly think that, as far as Facebook, I have never been banned from Twitter because I don't spread misinformation. But as far as Facebook is concerned, I've been banned, suspended several times for simple things. So yeah, since we are on the COVID subject, Still Good Femini says, so my question is COVID related. Since we've been friends on Facebook, I've noticed you do your research. Yes, I have. Yes, I do. It is something that's important. Opinion on Omicron. My opinion on Omicron, from what I have read, Omicron spreads way faster than your first COVID 19 strain, and even faster than Delta. It does say that, from what I've read, that it affects people who have been vaccinated and people who have had their have vaccinated a little bit less. You can still get it if you've been vaccinated. Now, if you had the booster, which I have, and everybody should go out there and get, that if you've had the booster, your chances of contracting and passing on transmission of the Omicron variant is much lower. Not only that, but the chances for symptoms are much lower as well. So, for instance, if you go into a room or if you go into a place and somebody has COVID in that room, if you have the third shot, the third jab, the booster, whatever you want to call it, you're much more less likely to contract the virus, and you're also much less likely to spread the virus as well. However, I'd still suggest that if you're in a crowded party or whatnot, that you should probably still try to distance and, stay safe in those situations. As far as those who are not vaccinated by it for COVID, or those who've had a long time, like 6 months or more since their vaccination, are much more susceptible to catching the Omicron variant, and it can be a much more harsh situation as far as your symptoms and things. It has, for people who are completely unvaccinated, caused many deaths, and it has caused many people to be hospitalized, which is a problem because with hospitals and the way that things are going right now, most hospitals are anywhere from 85 to 95% on average full. Their hospital beds are full. Their emergency room beds are full. So people are dying because people are refusing to get vaccinated and taking up hospital beds, and which is causing not only them to suffer and possibly die, but it's also causing the people who are waiting for emergencies to have to wait 12 to 24 hours to get the care that they need, and can also cause deaths in people that don't even have COVID. So I do think that it is a concern. I don't think it's as much concern for people who have taken precautions and have vaccinated themselves and have gotten the booster. And you're not eligible till March for the booster. Still good, Femini? Yeah, I would check, because you might be. I don't know if you've talked to your doctor about it, but you may be able to get it sooner now that the Omicron variant has become prevalent in our state. So I got the 2 Pfizer shots as well, and when I went into my doctor, he asked me about a booster about 2 months ago. So it is a definite possibility that that's something that you can possibly get at this point. So I would just check on it. Anyways, get back to Marjorie Taylor Greene here. Particularly regarding the 2020 elections and COVID-related issues, and either had their content taken down or face suspension. Many of them have rallied or railed against those large platforms, accusing them of bias against conservatives and stifling free speech. So, House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy issued a lengthy statement Monday that did not mention Greene by name, but hammered social media companies over recent decisions to silence Americans, including a sitting member of Congress, among others. It is clear any speech that does not fit big tech's orthodoxy gets muzzled. No. Oh my God. Okay. it's not big tech's orthodoxy. It's based upon scientific fact that they've discovered through many, many different scientists, and have gotten to the point where they have enough knowledge that they can enter this into their TOS as something that is misinformation by these people. So there's no reason that it's not big tech's orthodoxy. It's just completely ridiculous. It's facts against fiction is what it is. And they have the right, through their TOS, to avoid people spreading misinformation on their platforms. We're going to read further here. Also, on Monday, Senator Rand Paul, who was temporarily suspended from YouTube in the fall, announced that he would no longer post to videos on the site unless it is to criticize them, and pointed his audience to a competing platform. Those of us who believe that truth comes from disputation and the marketplace of ideas is a prerequisite for innovation should shun those closed-minded censors of big tech and take our ideas elsewhere, Paul wrote in the op-ed in the Washington Examiner. So, bottom line on this, guys. These Republicans that are stating this, they're getting mad because they're wrong. They are not following the science, and they're using it as a political leverage because they know that there are people out there that are scared, and they're using that to their advantage. So they're saying things like don't get the vaccine or whatnot, and scaring people to not getting it so that they can maintain their political power. This is a tactic that's been used by the Republican Party for a while now. So I do just, highly suggest that everybody gets vaccinated, and I highly suggest that you avoid listening to misinformation from people. Go to the source. Go to the CDC. Go to, the World Health Organization for things like that. Don't listen to Republicans in Congress or right-wing pundits and things like that. I do know that there's leftists that have it right. I do know that there's liberal commentators that have it right. But I still suggest that you go and get your information from the source, because then it's more reputable. You're more reputable if you're quoting, Cenk Uygur from TYT on something. He's not a doctor. He may have it right, but he's not a doctor. So if you go to the source and quote the CDC. Now the problem is that Republicans, they will speak as if it's truth, first of all, and they will denounce even the CDC. They say it's a government conspiracy. It's a government label only helps when it's to say to trust them. But when it says to trust the CDC, they say it's a deep state conspiracy. Don't trust the CDC. Or the WHO. It's a deep state conspiracy. It's ridiculous. If it was a deep state conspiracy, how come all of the other countries in the world? It's like a lot of people put themselves into this nationalist bubble that's so American centric that they don't even see what's going on in the world outside. And so they don't realize how many people are dying from COVID in Africa and in places like India and the UK, their problems with it. It's really ridiculous that we can't look at and see what's going around the rest of the world and realize what we need to do. Instead, we say it's just some giant conspiracy. It's ridiculous that people even have those notions. And that's what this channel about, Vertigo Veritas. You got to find truth in the fucking chaos of everything. And I'm telling you, the truth lies with the scientists.